Hi, and welcome back to Tech with Mark. In this episode, we're going to continue our journey looking at Swift, specifically with strings, because they are very, very powerful in Swift. So a string, as we saw in our previous video, is a series of characters. For example, let some string equals Tech with Mark. Behind the scenes, however, each character is stored as a Unicode character. Without losing track of the focus of this video, it's worth knowing that Unicode is a way of encoding characters. Every character is assigned a separate number. In all languages, even emojis have a number. Now, before Unicode was invented, there were hundreds of different systems for encoding strings. According to Wikipedia, there are over 143,000 different Unicode characters, including shapes, arrows, emojis, even Braille. Okay, so what does that mean for Swift? Well, it means that a string can hold more than just a normal script like above. This, for example, is perfectly acceptable. Let my emoji string equals, this is a string with a cat. You can bring up the emoji and symbols editor, by the way, by clicking Edit and then selecting Emoji and Symbols. Or you can use the shortcut key, which is the Control key, Command key, and space together. Another thing that you can do with strings is they can span multiple lines. The format for that is to put 3 quotation marks at the start and the end of the string, like this. You can even put normal quotes inside a multi-line string. So for example, we can do something like this, taking a line from Harry Potter. So you can see here that "You look troubled, young Potter" is still in quotes, but the whole thing is wrapped as a multi-line string. And Swift will find that perfectly acceptable. Remember, if you want the string to be updated at some point later, we have to use the var keyword. So var my string. This is a way to initialize an empty string, and then at some point later, we can add to it. And you see now that my string is the value Tech. If you try to do that with the let variable, then Swift will report an error, just like we showed before. One more thing I'd like to point out in this video is a new function, and it's called print. Now, print is a special function in Swift, and you can put in it anything you like. So we can put a string in, for example, this is a print string. And you'll see that this gets printed not only here in the playground, but it gets printed down here. When we actually get to coding in Swift properly, what you'll find is that you won't have this kind of canvas area over here anymore. This is purely for the playground to show you important things that are happening. What you will have is a debug area, which we'll come to much later, but you'll be able to see things printed down here. Now, print can also print more than just strings. So I can create a variable, let val equals 456, and then I can say print the value of val is, and then there's this special format, backslash bracket, the name of the variable I want to print, close bracket, and the whole thing is wrapped in quotes. And now you can see that we can print, it will actually print out the value of that variable as part of a string. One more thing I'd like to introduce you to is that types like strings and ints and doubles have certain properties that you can use. These are done with what's called the dot notation. So if we look at our string up here, new string, and I press dot, these are either functions or properties that you can actually call on that variable. The one I'm going to show you today is count. So you'll see here that it's saying that the length of the characters, or the number of characters in newString, is 48. Now you can also use properties and these functions of variables in a print statement. So I can go print the length of new string is / bracket new string dot count and close the bracket. And when I print, you'll see here that the new string is 48.
Okay, so that ends our introduction to strings in Swift. We'll be coming back and using them a lot more, I assure you. Next time, we're going to take a look at collections. In the meantime, please hit the subscribe button below and, as always, stay safe.